Hello, welcome to No Raggedy Faith. My name is Michelle, and today has been a day where I have been putting together this cute little journal, and this is a journal that I'm going to be using for my December daily. And it has this adorable little heart ribbon, which is interesting because the printable that I'm using is called Christmas in My Heart, and it's by Diane Noble of Daydream Bible Art. And that's what I will be using for this journal. And I have put together a tutorial here today for you if you're interested in making this journal. It's really easy. There's no sewing to it, and I take you through the steps of how to make it. And it just opens up like a book. The pages are kind of glued in, pieces of different papers, different textures. This is my little tag to tell me what scriptures I'm going to be writing in my December daily and thinking about and pondering as Christmas nears. And I just kind of wanted to show you what this journal looked like. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it like this because it opens up. It's an accordion style no-sew journal. Just so you can kind of see what we'll be making. Have some tracing paper, some music paper, a little bit of paper that I've put through my Big Shot, and some different printables I've used, some of my mom's paper, a recipe from an old book, and then when you get to the end, you just turn it over like so. Whoops, I'm making a mess here. And you go the other direction. Isn't that just wonderful? And you have a whole nother side to make pretties and to do your journaling in. And I'm hoping to work through this each and every day, at least up until Christmas. And then at that time, I'll start thinking about my word of the year. But I just wanted to share with you this cute little journal and give you a little inspiration, at least, for what you might choose to do for yours. All right, let's go ahead and go on, and I will show you how we put together this precious little journal. Come and join me, and while you're here, say hello. Let me know what you're doing if you're going to be journaling this Christmas. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear from you. Say hi. I have here a cereal box that I have cut up. I cut these out of the front panel, and I cut two more out of the back panel from the box. The size that I'm using is 6 by 4 is what I cut them to. This is going to be my front cover. I'm just going to take this Elmer's washable glue. I find that it works just fine for me. And I am going to cover it with glue. And one of the reasons that I'm doing it this way is because when you use this glue, it hardens just a bit. And so cardboard is on the flimsy side, but after we do this, it is going to lose that flimsiness. And I just match them up, put them down, and I'm just gonna burnish it down. Now, this does create a little bit of wetness, so as soon as we're done with it, we're going to put it under a book to dry, and that way it will dry flat. For the cover of this, I'm going to use this plaid that comes from Diane's printable. It's in her Daydream Bible Art Shop, and it's called Christmas in My Heart Art Kit. What I'm going to be using for the cover, and I'm just going to turn it over and put it on there, and that's how I'm going to do that. I'm just covering this up completely. You can see the purples. That's one of the reasons I really like this glue, is because you can see that you have gotten all the area. And when I do something like this, I like to go around the edges last to make sure the edges are on there well. So I'm just going to try and leave about the same amount on all edges. And burnish that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off this area. I'm just going to cut this off. Now save this part because we're going to use this. In fact, I'm going to cut this now while I have my cutter out. And I want this red part to be cut to 2 inches, I believe. No, maybe 1 3/4 inches. Looks better. Continuing with this, you can see it's starting to curl, and I want to hurry up before it dries and get it under a book. And when it dries, it will be very flat. I'm just going to go ahead and fold that over. And I like to use a gift card, a plastic gift card for this. And I take and I push it in to where it's flush with the side. And then I draw it out. And that gives me a nice crease that I can follow. And I do that on these 2 sides, or on any 2 sides, the top and the bottom, or side to side, it doesn't matter. Make sure it sticks down. And again, I'm pressing in, so that gives me a nice crisp edge. And there we have that. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to take from about there to there, and see how this edge here meets up. I'm going to butt my scissors right up against that edge and then go to the end of the paper. And pretty much that will give me the right amount of a miter. That one I was a little off on. This one I'm a lot off on, but it won't matter. It won't be seen. Just the very edge might be seen. And now I'm going to do the same thing with these last flaps, making sure to get the edge of it really well. I know we hear my printer going. I'm a little late getting started with my December daily this year, and this is what I'm going to be using for my December daily. Okay, so there we have that. The next thing that we need to do, and I have already done this off camera, is I have done the second piece. And so here we have this other piece, and this is going to go on here like this. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, cut it to the size. Now, if you'll notice, also for this, I printed this at 113%, and that made it go from not the entire page to the whole page. And I am just going to look and see. If you look at this edge here, the printing is just a little off on that edge, and so I'm going to use this edge. And I want it to be about the same size. Let me turn it over this way so we can see it a little bit better. I have that down there. That looks good. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to mark where the edge of my cover is. And I'll grab my little cover and get rid of that. There we go. Now, another thing that I like to do is, you'll notice now that these points are kind of pointy, and I don't like them really pointy. I do like them crisp, but I don't like to jab myself with the edge of my book, and so I just kind of round it just a little bit, and that way I'm not forever getting myself. So here I have one cover, and this cover I didn't do very well, and I'm going to use it as the back cover. So this is going to be the back, and this is going to be the front cover. This is the side that I need to put it on, so I'm going to put here. Now I'm going to take this. Now I'm going to fold this in half, but I'm not going to harden the crease. I'm just gently pressing to give me an idea of where that center is. I do not want a hard crease. This is the back cover. Let me turn this over. So this is the back, and this will be the front. This will go here, and this will go here. So I want this to be over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper, and so here we go. So I need this to be here, So I'm just going to kind of line these up. I'm going to fold this a little bit so I can find where that crease is, where that center is. And then I'm just going to line it up with my book. Now this one I cut a little bit short, but that's okay. You know, we don't have to be perfect. We just want it to be pretty. And I'm going to wrap that around. And that's pretty. It makes me think of those old composition books, except it is prettier. I'm going to use that as the back, and I'm going to use this as the front. Now we're going to fold this over like this. So I am making a no-sew journal. And I saw this journal on Meg Journals on YouTube here. She is such a sweet young girl who shares her joy of journal making, and we're going to use her no-sew method. I call it hers. I don't know if she invented it. I don't know where it originally came from, but I really love it. I love the look of it. And what we need to do is we need to gather some papers. So I'm going to set these aside for now. We're going to pull out this, and you'll see that I have gathered some papers. So what kind of papers have I gathered? Let's just take a look through these things because this is important. I've gathered some doilies. These are actually some cupcake rounds that I found at a yard sale. I have some doilies, different sizes, different styles. You know, will I use them? I don't know. Some of them I've tea dyed. I also have some paper that I have tea dyed and then added some color to. I might use that. I also put it through my embossing machine. And I have different papers like that that I could use. I also have some craft paper. This is actually a printable. There's a couple printables here from different places. An old card from an index card that is yellowed with age. I have scraps of paper, different kinds of paper. Now, as I'm looking at these papers, you'll notice something about all these papers that I have here. And all these papers are what I would call neutral papers, except for maybe that one. I don't know as though I would call that a neutral paper. But I'm looking for a general neutral theme as I begin my December daily. And here I have some of my ledger paper that I used in a project, and I didn't use the whole thing. I have different books, and a lot of times I'll go to thrift stores and I'll find old books. And here are some really old books, and I'll be using some of those. Here was a thing from a plant book. This was Charlotte's Web in French. This is one of my favorite books. It is The Child's Life of Christ. It's from the 1800s, and I have that book, and I might be using that or a copy of that. We'll see. But I like the fact that it has different text, and you'll notice that I go through a lot of these and I find different text paper and slightly different shades of color, if you can see that. This is from an 1800 cookbook, and look at that, it has roast turkey. Maybe some music from a hymn book. This is I don't know if this would be called straw paper, but it's like construction paper, and I found it, and I might use that in here. I have some tea or coffee stained paper. This is just tracing paper. It's folded over, I think. Yes, it is. So I have some tracing paper. This is, I'm not sure what you would call this paper. I think we used to use it when I was a child. We would use it to finger paint on. And they're just, this is from another, I don't know where I got them. Here is some tissue paper in a neutral color. I might grab some white tissue paper as well. And then I have these scraps. I might use some of these. I have this old white bag that I went ahead and I coffee dyed. I'll probably use that for sure. Here's some packing paper. My mother used this lined paper. She always had this notepad by her, and she would write things in it. And I used some of her paper and coffee dyed it. This is another thing of paper. I might use it, I might not use it. This is, my mother became blind, and she would use this until she lost all of her sight. And so I might use that. And those are some of the things that I'll be using to make my journal with. But we'll take this one and we'll look at this. Now this is going to be the size of my book. And I really like that size. I could hold it in my hand. It's not so big that I'm going to have a hard time filling it. This is going to be a December daily. I hope to do something in this every single day. I know that in the past I've not been able to do every day, but it's going to be there in case I want to. And so this is going to be the size of our paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper, and we want our paper to be this size. And so we're going to take and we're going to create a no-sew booklet that comes in the size of this paper. So I'm not really going to be cutting. I'm just going to be tearing my paper. I kind of like a raw edge, a more natural look. And so I'm going to have that. Now here we have that. And I'm just going to put it this way because I want that to be the front of the book. And I'm going to fold this over here. And I want this fold to be as close to this edge as I can possibly get it. I want it to be the same size as my book, my cover. So there we have that. Now, my next page will be something a little bit different. And so I will look through my pages and I will find something that I want to use. Maybe some of this. And so I'm going to take and so I'll just use my tearing ruler. When I use my tearing ruler, I line up the pages on my mat, and then I just kind of tear, and that's how I get my edges that I want. And instead of doing the entire thing, I'm just going to do part of this. Maybe to here. This is where I'll go. And then that will be part of my page, and I am going to glue this where this is. So I'm going to take and I'm going to glue, whoops. These two pieces will overlap on my page. And so I'm going to put this here like this. And I'm matching up the edges of my papers. And I'm going to grab another piece of paper here. I saw a little piece of music. And this is where it gets messy because I put all these papers all over the place. Here we go. This is perfect. So I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to cut this down here. I want a little bit of a straighter edge. It's kind of hard to tear when you're just using a little bit of an edge, and I just move my fingers to hold it really tight. And then this can go here. And I think I'm going to wrap it. Okay, so this is my first page. So let's pretend this is my front cover. This page will be glued right here. And then I can glue this here. I'm going to take this off. Okay. So now if you look at this, there's only part of this that does not get seen. So I only want to put the glue on the part that is on top of each other. So from here over, I will put glue. And then I'll put glue right here on the edge of this. And I'll match those up as best I can. And there we have that. So now we've got part of a page going. This, I'm going to go ahead and fold over. Now remember, this is our cover. And you know, we can go ahead and attach that to our cover right now, or we can wait. I think I'm going to wait. Our next piece of paper is going to come in, and we just keep going through our pages until we find something that we want to use. And I'm going to use this. I'll just take and put glue up here, and that's what I will attach. And I'm going to come back here to this side. I'll add something along the way here. And what will it be? I don't know. I have to look through my pages and find something. And I think I'm going to use this, or part of this. So I'm going to glue along here. I'm going to glue along here. And then this part will be going here. I'm going to take and I'm going to glue here because this is where I need some extra glue. I'm going to match up the edges of those pages, or not. This can come onto the next page. And here I have this, and this becomes part of another page. And I'm just going to add some paper. I kind of like this. I don't want this to be on a fold, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold these. So this is going to be folded accordion style. And this is my cover. Let's just see this. This is my cover. This goes here. This comes back on itself. So I just have to keep folding this according to the size of the pages, and trying to keep it as close to the size as possible. So I fold that, then this one comes back like this. And there we have that. So now I know that this is going to be here, and I want a little piece of this on here. How much? I don't know. Maybe just a little. Maybe just this much. This already has a fold in it. Let's see if I can tear it. And I can. Maybe to here. And we'll save that for another part. And it doesn't matter that it's ripped a little bit differently. We'll just take and we'll go right here on this edge. And fold that in, and I'll put some glue here. And there we've added another thing to our paper. There we go. This is not quite glued here. I'll add a little glue on the side. There we go. Then we'll add some more. Let's grab some paper. Here we go. I think I'll go here and here. That's what I'll do. I want it to come up to the top though. I like the first book exercise words to be in there. And this is another one of those delicate papers. So I'm not going to put it right on the edge of a fold, but I am going to use it in my book. And this is what you do. You just keep adding page after page after page. Now I want enough to do 30 days of journaling. So I'm going to let me go ahead and put this on here because it needs to go on here. I was going to take that off, but I'm not anymore. Since tomorrow is the 1st, I need to hurry up and get this together. And now we're going to add this to the book. So I'm just going to put this in here. And there we have it. So now it is attached to the book. And I am just going to keep going. This is going to be my front cover. This fold is a little off, so I need to add a little more to it. Take a little away, maybe. Actually, I kind of like it going over a little. So you'll see a lot of times I'll bring my pages down a little bit more or a little higher, and we'll go from there. And I said I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to tear this edge off. There we go. So here we go. You can see my book is starting to take form. My next page, and I will keep going. And I'm going to put to where I have enough pages for 15 on one side. And you'll notice that when you open it up and you go the other way on the back, you have a whole different side to do stuff on. So you don't need a whole 30 pages. You just need half of those pages. And I'm going to go ahead and finish that on my own, and then we will see together. Now you see how this page is delicate and it is not going to hold. And so what I'll do is I'll come in with a little bit of washi or a piece of paper, and I'll add it on there to strengthen that. And it might, I'll probably use maybe a little bit of a sheet of music to come down and strengthen that. So I have assembled my little journal, put the pages. I've not put the back cover on. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but I thought we would go through it and just kind of look and see what it looks like. And you'll see that you can turn the pages, and you'll notice I'll have to do a little extra gluing along the way, but you can see I've used some tracing paper. I've used some printables, some music, some of the paper that I put through my Big Shot. Just paper. Here's a music page. Here is a recipe, different printables that I used, and here I come to the end. Now when I come to the end, the most important thing is with the end, you need an open paper on this side. The fold has to be here, the open paper here. This will go here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is on the inside. We're going to go ahead and glue this down. Now you could use a little extra glue, heavier duty glue if you want. I'm just not going to bother. This is my own personal journal, and I know that this does well for me. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to gather it together, kind of make sure it's in the center, and with the bottom down, we're going to glue that on. We're going to open it up like so, and we're going to burnish it. My desk is a complete disaster. I have papers everywhere. Okay, so there we have that glued down. So let's just take a look at this and see how we are. We're going to go through it. Now, the other thing about this journal is nice is that it can open up like this, and you can work on more than one page at a time. And let's see, count how many pages I have. So I'm counting this as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16 attaches to my cover. I turn it over and I have another 16 pages. And we'll just kind of open it up so you can see it. Here you can tell I've used some different pieces through here. I've used some vellum, some music paper, all sorts of paper. And you can just kind of get an idea of what that looks like. Some tracing paper, and all the way to the front, or what would have been the front cover, or the back cover. So let's go ahead and bring it back to the front. This is my front. So now I'm going to decorate this. And actually, before I decorate it, I want to fix some of the spots that need a little extra glue. And there are some pages. I'm just going to open this up and we're going to work our way through the book. So here you'll see that this page was ripping a little. And what I did was I didn't want to cover up this side, so I added a little bit right there on that side. And that took care of that problem. Now here I'm going to have the same problem. And so I'm going to find a piece of something to go there. And here I have a little piece of this, and I think this will work just fine. I decide which side I want on it, and we'll just add that to it. And that will help. This is a good solid paper that I'm using here, so it will help with the bend. And then we just come back in and we bend it. And make sure it sticks. Where's my burnishing tool? You can tell I'm still in my jammies. And then here, I need something that will go inside of this because my glue stick's not going to fit there, so I'm just going to use a little bit of this. Glue that down, and that takes care of that piece. And I just keep working my way through, checking to make sure if I have any areas that are open, any areas that did not glue very well, and I see that for the most part, it's pretty good. Now we'll come to this side and we'll do the back. I do want to leave this open on that one end that I just glued. And everything seems to be stuck down pretty well. There's one, and that's the same problem there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little on there and burnish it down. I'll use my finger this time. And we'll just keep looking. So I think that looks good. Perfect. So now we can just put it back together and we can decorate. I want to decorate the cover. Now that's not the front. This is the front for me. I know that. I want that as the front of my cover. And as I said earlier, I'm going to be using some of these printables from Daydream Bible Art. Let me just show you what I'm going to be using. This is my ephemera folder that I use. It's one of those happy planners. And I have some Christmas items in here. And this is part of the kit that this is a part of. And you'll see that I'll be using some of these. I want to use that. I took one of these circles here and I used an extra piece of the cereal box and glued it to it, and then I just added a couple more pieces there so that it would stand out. I'm going to use that as my closure. Can you see that? Whoops, let me put that back in there. Anyhow, these are the printables that I'm going to be using in this kit, and she has several Christmas printables in her shop, and I suggest that you just go look through it and see what you like. But there's this one. I think this one is Coffee and Christmas. There's this one with the cute little pink cars and the presents and the tree. There's lots of word ephemera to use, word fetty that you can use. So I'll be using a mixture of these. This is the Nativity one. I'm sure that will go in my journal somewhere. And I have some more that I have to put in here still. but that's what I'm going to do. And so for now, I'm just going to pick and choose what I want where. And I know that this coordinates with it. I was thinking I would put this on the front and use this here as a closure. And then on the back, let me just flip this over. I think I want to use this here. And this is going to go on the top of my string. I have to find my Christmas string, and I'll put that around, and then it will tie here in the front, and this will be here, and it will attach. Actually, I think I'm going to do a Christmas dangle instead that wraps around this little button closure instead of tying all the way around it, and that way it does not block the words. I don't want it to block the words, so I'll probably bring this over a little. Why don't I just do that now? And that way it will be finished. Again, I'm going to grab this so it doesn't go all over my table. I already have plenty of glue on here. And again, I'm just using the Elmer's glue, and I can see where it is. And when I come to these pieces that are sticking out, I just go around the edges going out from the center. And that way it doesn't ruffle them, and I can kind of see where I want it to go. Now I know that I want this here, so I'm going to set this here just to get the placing. And I think I'm just going to go just like that. It's a very simple cover, but it's still pretty, and I really like it. So I'm just going to burnish that down. And then this will go here. I'm not going to put that on just yet. I want to look at the back and see, where did I put that cute little heart? It's right in front of me. That is going to go there. And I have some Christmas thread. Let me find that, and I'll be right back with you. I have found a couple options. This is like a gold cord, which would be nice to use. And then I also have this. This is a gold elastic. So I think I want this to go here. I would have like a dangle of this. I think I might use just this gold cord. And this would be maybe wrapped around it, and it would go to the back. Not sure if I want to do that or not. I have enough. I kind of like that button there though. I'm not quite sure yet, but there you have my journal for my December daily, except for the closure. And this is pretty plain at the moment, but in time, it will become full of all the goodness of Christmas. And this year for my Christmas December daily, I'm going to be doing it through Christmas. I'm going to be using a daily writing plan, and I'll be just taking a look at some of the verses. You know, as Christmas comes upon us, we often get very busy with life, and the one thing that we do not want to do is forget that we celebrate Christmas because of what it means to us, because of the fact that Jesus came and died for us on the cross. He was born in a manger for us. And so that will be my focus for this December daily. We'll be adding some pretties in here. You can be gathering some items. So what are some of the things I might use? I might use some napkins. I have quite a few napkins. I might use a printable. I might use, this is a paper bag. Check this out. This is a paper bag, and it's kind of Christmassy. I'm sure I'll be using a doily or two. And of course, a little bit of lace around the edges always helps. Who knows what will be there. I might use an old Christmas card. All sorts of things you can be gathering. I have some Christmas washi tape. I think this came from Hobby Lobby a year or two ago. I'm not sure. Some of the other things I have some ribbons. I have this old Christmas bag, all sorts of things. So I'm just kind of digging out of my Christmas box, and we'll see where it goes. I hope you join me as we walk through this Christmas season, and hopefully I'll be able to put a little, maybe do some journaling with you through it on some of the days, and some of the days I just might share with you what I've done. Anyhow, I will see you soon. Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you make a journal. Let me know in the comments if you're making one and how that is going. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. Some of the printables, you might be wondering where I got these printables. So the printables for Christmas are from Daydream Bible Art. You can find that online. I've purchased, or I've gotten several kits from her, and she's just wonderful. Some of them are from books. Some of them are old ledger paper. And again, you saw my tracing paper, music paper. These are some printables. You can just look online for script printables that you can download. This is a printable. This is from a recipe book. Another printable. So there's lots of different, I told you about this paper already. I did that myself with just some paper. I'm going to have to put something there, but we'll wait until it's time to do that because we'll be designing on these pages. So I will see you soon. Bye for now. I have my journal here, and what I want to do is print out the scripture writing plan for Christmas that was loaded up into Daydream Bible Art Facebook group, which is a group that focuses on some of the printables made by Diane Noble. One of those today is the Christmas writing plan. It's also listed in Embracing God's Word. I want to make a separate kind of tag that I can take out and put wherever I'm working, and that tag will mark my place. I'm just going to grab my printables here and look through them to see what I want to put that on. And I know I want one of the plaids, or maybe not the plaid, maybe one of these Christmas ones. Let's just try this. I think that would be nice. Let me just see if this will fit on here. I printed this at 40%, and it does fit on here. I'll use this to make a tab for the top, finding a place that I kind of like. So I'm going to use those 2 tabs, and I think I'll put those at the top, so I want to save room for that. So then that will go there. Let's just make sure that this fits in here, and it fits in just perfectly. And that will be just fine. So I want it to be, oh, I don't know, not the whole page, maybe about that much. So I'll cut it here. Not really measuring, just kind of getting an idea of how that's going to be. And that will be perfect. Let's just go ahead and glue that on there. That will be the first layer. And again, I'm using this Elmer's school glue. Goes on purple, it dries clear, and it will help keep it, stay thicker and harder. It's not very straight, but that's okay. I'm going to put this one here, like right there at the top. And then I need to find a paper for the background. I think I'm going to use one of these papers that was my mom's, and I'll put that on the back, and that way I can write a couple things if I want to. Maybe a beginning prayer or something along those lines. Or better, and that way, even though my mom is no longer with me, I have a little bit of her to think about as I do this. I don't want all of that on there. We'll take that off, and then we will glue this. And I probably should have waited to put that tag on. I got a little ahead of myself. I'll just have to be careful, you know, with the top edge that it meets up correctly, because I won't be able to trim that very well. So I'm gonna bring this the other way so it's closer to me so I can see. And I'll just go like that. And then this tag will go on the other side. I'm going to have to clean my desk. And that can go there. And then let me just cut this down. I'll use that in another piece. Now this tag, as you can see, it's curling because it's wet, but once we put it in underneath the book, it will dry flat and it will stay flat. A little closer on that one. This one will just have to line up at the bottom since I can't do the top. There we go. So there is my little tag that I'm going to use, and it starts tomorrow on December 1st, and I'll be using that in my journal to move to the place where I'm working. And I might, that way it'll stick out and I can just, you know, wherever I am in the journal, I can find that and look for it. And I might put a little bow or something there. I'm not sure. I'll wait and see. But I have that ready to begin tomorrow.